Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. This is the regular meeting of the Garden City Planning Commission. It's Thursday, November 13th, 2025 at 6:32 p.m. Our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Everyone would rise. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated. Okay, we need approval of the agenda. Can have a motion?
Could we do a roll call?
Oh, we can do that too.
Thank you. All right. Chairperson May.
Here.
Commissioner Steenberg.
Here.
Commissioner Walls is asked to be excused. Commissioner King.
Here.
Commissioner Williams.
Here.
Commissioner Bossi has asked to be excused. And Commissioner Daniels.
Here.
You do have a quorum with 5 members present.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda for Thursday, November 13th, 2025 as presented. Support.
Motion's made and supported. Any questions or comments on the motion? Take the roll, please.
Yes, Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner King.
Aye. Commissioner
Daniels.
Aye.
Commissioner Steenberg.
Aye.
Chairperson May.
Aye.
Motion does pass.
Next, approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of August 14th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the regular meeting on August 14th, 2025.
Support.
Motion's made and supported. Any comments or questions on the motion? Hearing none, would you take the roll, please?
Yes, Commissioner King.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Daniels.
Aye.
Commissioner Steenberg.
Aye.
Chairperson May.
Aye.
The motion does carry with 5.
Next item is public comment on non-agenda items only. If there's anyone here who wishes to speak on a non-agenda item, this is your opportunity to come forward and do so. This is non-agenda items only. Okay, seeing no one, we'll move on to our business items. First item, EPZ 25-0007. This is a request for a special land use and site plan approval to establish an agricultural production use on 2 vacant lots on the east side of Garden Avenue, south of Hennepin Avenue, in the R1 one-family residential zoning district. Would you get us started off?
Yes. Good evening, Commissioners. Tonight we're considering a site that's in the R1 one-family residential zoning district. This site is located on the east side of Garden Avenue and south of Hennepin, but also north of Marquette. And it's actually comprised of 2 lots, which combined are 135 feet in width along Garden and then 110 feet in depth off of Garden. So it's for a total of approximately 14,850 square feet. The applicant is proposing to operate an organic and medical herbal farm on these vacant lots. Within the R1 district, the zoning ordinance does indicate that the use of a parcel for gardening or the production of agricultural products is a use that requires special land use review and approval for the operation to continue. So as a special land use, we look at the general requirements for approval in addition to any specific requirements for that particular type of use. The zoning ordinance does not have any specific requirements for agricultural or gardening uses. So we just have to look at the general requirements for any type of special land use. And the most important of those are the first one listed, I should say, is compatibility. It's compatibility with adjacent uses. So this site, as noted, is zoned R1 single family. It's surrounded by single family, and it's also and it's also used on all the adjacent lots in the area as for single-family residential homes. I feel the question with regards to compatibility does come down to whether this proposed use in this location and on this size of a lot is capable of being compatible with the adjacent single-family homes. Now, the applicant has indicated that they would be utilizing it for organic farming and for medicinal and herbs, and as proposed, those items do seem modest in nature. One aspect with regards to agricultural uses and farming, I would stress that if any approval were to be granted or considered, to specify exactly what is or isn't allowed on the site, mainly because allowing a broad agricultural use on the site could open it up to any other type of agricultural use, even to eventually some type of some animal husbandry or, keeping of animals on the site, if it wasn't specified. Now, the applicant has specified what what they would like to do. So that's important. The information before you, the applicant has provided you a plot plan showing the location of the areas that are going to be designated for the actual growing of the product, and then a separate area for equipment. No further detail has been provided as of yet with regards to the method of storage for the equipment, and how the organic nature of the farming would necessarily result in the final product. And I'll be honest, I'm unfamiliar with the final product and its appearance and its size and scale on the site. It would appear that it would be small in nature, like, small plantings. I don't believe they grow to a large size, so it's not like they're going to be extensive in nature, but the potential is there. So in the end, compatibility, I think, comes down to how it would be operated and whether the size and scale of it is appropriate for, given the amount of residences that are in the immediate area. My review letter and comments in front of you are based on the notion, on the premise that there is the potential for this to be incompatible with adjacent uses if it was operated in such a way that it was very large in scale, have a high level of activities, to a certain degree at certain times. There obviously has to be the time for the plants to grow and the crops to grow, I should say. So it's really about, I believe, getting additional information to and being very specific as to what is being grown, how that will be in relation to the adjacent property, and to what extent that could be or would be compatible with the adjacent residents or not. While I know there are no additional structures in immediate vicinity to the property lines on the east, south, and west, there is a home directly to the north. It is approximately only about 60 feet away. And while they're not currently occupied, the residential areas on the east and south, there's the potential for them to be utilized by those property owners for residential purposes. So that's the main reason I brought up in my review letter the idea of what type of screening would be needed, if any. So to get into further aspects of that, with regards to the master plan, the site and all adjacent properties are designated as garden residential, and the master plan states that garden residential is appropriate for planned densification, actually, due to the available land and the size and scale and its proximity to downtown. We know this plan isn't necessarily something that the Planning Commission has considered to be 100% in line with the current standards. It was appropriate at the time. Whether we're looking at this designation and seeing if that's appropriate to allow for densification in these areas or not. So whether the proposed use is compatible with the master plan is something to consider. And really the other aspects of compatibility are all about that, all other categories that you're looking at with regards to special land use and whether it's appropriate is about compatibility. It's whether the use of adjacent property would be impacted by this proposed use, because the intent is to make sure that it does not interfere with the use and enjoyment of adjacent property. So whether gardening would impact that. And as I mentioned, it's all about the size and scale of the operation, and if it was the potential to grow to a point where it could be incompatible, or if it's going to be kept in a modest size and scale and kept in a conditions and operations that would be compatible. Some other notes, just in conversations with the applicant in terms of public service and the need for water, I was unaware, but it's also possible for vehicles to have just a water delivered to the site in a large scale, and the applicant will provide more detailed information about it with regards to basically trucks, like a small scale 2-axle truck, just providing water barrels, basically. And then with regards to impact on traffic, there would be no impact in terms of the volume or the scale of the traffic. However, the need for the vehicles to access onto the property, in my opinion, would require a curb cut in order to make sure that it's done appropriately and done as with any other residential property that we require. So in the end, with regards to the special land use question, the establishment of an agricultural production facility on a modest-sized lot surrounded by and in close proximity to single-family homes would be very unique in the city at this time. As a fully developed urban city as we are now, in comparison to when we were established, it's important to ensure compatibility between these adjacent uses. So we would recommend any approval or any consideration of this use be substantiated by findings of fact that support compatibility of this use with adjacent uses. And then real briefly, I'll touch on site plan comments. Once again, it's related to the operation and how it will impact, how those tasks will impact the adjacent property. As one administrative note, there are 2 lots. As one use, we would recommend that they just be combined into one lot if, for example, the storage of equipment is located on one lot and it's not on the other. It's just probably, it would be, we always are requiring now that any aspects of a use that are split along 2 different lots be combined into one to ensure that they are all under common ownership. With regard to parking, I just mentioned the idea about having a curb cut to make sure that they meet have the ability to a vehicle to easily and effectively access the site. And then I do have comments regarding screening because, once again, as a note, the size and scale of the operation could get to the point where screening would be beneficial, but it's a matter of determining if it's going to get to that point, if it's going to be such extensive use that it's going to negatively impact property owners and thus require screening. Not negatively, but impact property owners and then require screening. So with regard to site plan review, we do believe that it would be necessary to address those issues prior to granting any approval. So I will take any questions at the appropriate time.
Do we have any questions?
Sir.
I do. Is there a limited amount that has to be planted on the property? Like, do we have he's got to plant 3/4 of it, he could plant a 10 by 10 area, and it can be considered architectural, yeah.
No, we don't. That's the thing with regard to agricultural uses. It's listed in this location, but nowhere else. So there are no other standards within the zoning ordinance for how much should be used or could be used. There are no standards for parking. There are no standards to address compatibility. So I believe that's why it's listed as a special land use, but then there's no other ordinance requirements applied. But as a special land use, Planning Commission does have the authority to request conditions that would make sure to ensure compatibility.
So my second question is, even though there's no structure proposed at this time, with agriculture, are they allowed to have an accessory building on there without a main residence being occupied?
Unfortunately, our zoning ordinance doesn't have a specific standard that other ordinances tend to have that say a accessory structure is only permitted when there's a principal structure on the site. Well, actually, forgive me, that is what we say right now. That we say right now is that you must have a principal structure on the site before you can have a accessory structure. What I was trying to refer to was the fact that in other communities that are more agricultural in nature, those, like rural townships do have standards that say, as long as of a principal use established. So if someone established on a piece of property a use, but not a principal structure, then they could have an accessory structure to support that other use. For this exact reason, if in a rural area, there was a large lot, or there was just a lot, they didn't have a residence on it, but they did have it was being used, and generally it's always for agriculture, then they're allowed to have accessory structures. But our ordinance doesn't speak to it, so it's kind of in a loop, it's in a issue that hasn't been addressed effectively by the ordinance. So whether they would be allowed to have one, I would say I think it's something that would need to be addressed during this review, and if the special land use didn't allow for the construction of an accessory use, then it probably would not be allowed without your approval tonight for some type of structure in the future. They would not have one unless they came back for consideration.
Since that's prohibited in other sections of the ordinance, would they be required to have a variance to put up an accessory structure?
It probably would take some type of interpretation by the ZBA as to how the ordinance could be applied, yes, because forgive me, I'll double check the exact wording, but based on my recollection, it would probably require some type of variance because it does explicitly state that a principal structure is required in order to have an accessory.
Being as how we're doing this, or reviewing this under a special land use permit, can't we establish the parameters of that accessory building?
I don't think we can go against what the ordinance says, though.
Correct.
If it says X, we can't ignore that.
Okay. So you're still looking at it from the standpoint that it would have to go to the ZBA?
Yeah,
For
it would,
that.
either for an interpretation or a variance, one of the two.
Now, I'm wondering, being as how it appears that the nature of this is fairly small scale, would he be allowed to have a small shed of some sort or another,
Well, that would be an accessory structure.
even if it wasn't high enough? Because they make these plastic storage units that are like only 4 feet tall to put like a lawnmower, garbage cans in. Would that be
Yeah,
viewed?
even for the smaller structures, why they might not require a building permit, they still do require zoning compliance and a zoning permit. So then it falls into that section where it does explicitly say,
It would still be accessory in nature?
yeah, it'd still be accessory to a principal structure. So, upon further consideration, that would be the approach for the applicant to take, because as correctly stated by Chairman May, your special land use approval can delve into aspects of the operation that you feel warrant compatibility, but you can't grant any kind of extra approval that would go against the zoning ordinance. They still have to comply with all other aspects of the zoning ordinance. But things like hours of operation, typically on other special land uses, we delve into hours of operation, size and scale of parking that exceeds the standard, those things that are not in violation of existing zoning standards. That's the area in which you can have criteria, conditions of approval on the use.
Yes, go ahead.
Question. So as far as like off-road parking, I know our current ordinance is like 360 square feet of paved off-road parking. Is that something that would be required here because agricultural could, be able to do some other kind of gravel or something, a permeable surface? Or are they required to do like the same thing as a residence?
Since it's a zoning standard, they would be required to what is permitted, what is listed in the zoning ordinance, which is hard surface at this time. So they would have to, once again, obtain a variance from that standard if they wanted to go natural in keeping with the organic nature of the use. Yeah, it's a current zoning ordinance requirement to have paved surface for parking.
Any other questions?
Can we hear from the,
Yeah, we can hear from the applicant now.
I think you got one more over here.
I had a question too.
We can hear from the applicant first.
Okay.
Sorry,
Yes, go ahead.
Something just to bring up, given that it's in residential area, the potential odor would be something to maybe consider too, to the local residents?
Yes,
Depending
in terms
on-
of compatibility,
Yeah,
I mean, we do have, we call it nuisance standards that deal with odor, dust, well, that's the same, noise, I should say, noise.
Yeah.
So they could operate it as long as they're in compliance with those standards, and it's only, if anything rise to that level. And honestly, I can give you the verbiage in a second here about what it states with regards to that, but it can become somewhat of an enforcement issue at times.
yeah.
But we do have a standard on the books.
I know composting, there's ordinance on composting, I believe.
Not in the zoning ordinance, but there might be a general law one, I don't know.
Could be, I'm not sure.
Well, not only composting, but
But manure, or whatever.
since we're
organic.
looking at planting garlic, I believe garlic can have quite an odor when it's being grown.
I'm not
just
familiar,
like-
so.
Onions and some other plants have a strong odor, and I'm wondering what the impact on residences around that would be. But maybe the applicant can shed some light on that. Is there anything else? Yes. Could you come forward and introduce yourself, sir? Would you introduce yourself?
Visit Rocks. I'm the owner of the corporation. Anyway, I addressed to Mr. Ortega that there is no curb there, because there's no curb there. So I told him that, so I don't see what the curb cut thing is. But when I first applied for this application, I did it because I got a ticket for something, I don't know. And I went for the judge, and he said that since I was filed for special use, that ticket would be left alone until y'all heard, to see if I could get my special land use. Well, lo and behold, that was back with Judge Hammer, June 11th, sorry. Okay, then on September 6th, I was offered half the value of my property. Then this complaint started again. September 10th, an informal hearing was heard. Judge Hammer did not even listen to me and charged me with three violations that Officer DeMichael ticketed me for. And I was under the impression that I wasn't gonna be getting harassed and tickets until y'all heard me out and see if I was gonna get my special use. So anyway, since that happened, September 16th, I posted a $600 bond to appeal with the Wayne Court. So that's on Monday. All right. So I wanted to be able to get the special use so I could put, a small building on there to dry my garlic, because I'm taking it to my condo right now and drying it, But that's fine. I'm glad, I'm fine with that right now. And people keep on stealing stuff off my property. And I find beer bottles around there and everything. So I posted up signs and have surveillance cameras there now. Anyway, I spoke with the Michigan Right to Farm Act that was enacted in 1981 to protect farmers from nuisance lawsuits related to their agricultural practices. So the Right to Farm Act protects farmers who follow generally accepted agricultural and management practices from nuisance lawsuits. It covers various agricultural activities. Says the Right to Farm Act preempts local ordinances that conflict with its provisions, particularly those that attempt to regulate farming practices. Local government cannot enforce regulations that would restrict farming operations if they comply with GAMPs. So I had, the inspector come out. There's only 3 of them in the whole state of Michigan, and he came out. He looked at my lot. And he said, "I'm GAMP compliant, and I can farm on there." I told him I'm not bringing any manure or any artificial pesticides, and I'm utilizing pretty much the whole lot now because I'm planting red clover by the fence line, and I just planted a hedge grove of elderberries because I took clippings. If you plant them in the ground, they'll get bushy by next year. So those are on the south side. The center part, I have garlic, and then I have lilies in the middle, and then garlic on the other side because the deer ate all my lilies last year. I've been farming there for 3 years now, and I haven't had any problems until people try to buy my property. And they offered me half of what it's worth. This guy called me up. I think it was, let me see, what day was it? September 6th, yeah. No, not September 6th. Oh, September 14th, I received a call. I heard you're getting trouble from City Hall. I'll take the property off your hands for $20,000. My property's worth like $50,000, okay? But under the right to farm, I didn't even have to apply for this special use if I'm GAMP compliant. So I'm basically thinking, why don't I just get my money back? You understand what I'm saying? The only reason I did this is so that I could put a accessory building up there to dry my garlic in. Small building. I was thinking maybe 10 by 10. But if you guys don't want to approve it, then I'll just get my money back. Because I'm GAMP compliant.
I have a question for the applicant.
Go
That's
ahead.
all right. So I have a question for you. On your plot, you have farm tools, but I drove by your property today, and you've got a boat, a trailer.
The trailer has all my equipment in it, so it doesn't get stolen.
What about the boat?
The boat I take out to go fishing. I can't have a boat?
Well, it says farm tools, that's why I asked the question.
Oh, okay. Well, I do have a boat. And then the other trailer, you saw my tractor out there then, right?
I did.
Okay. Yeah, I just did all that stuff, okay? Because you have to plant at the end of September for garlic and lilies. So that's why I did that. And in the spring, I'm gonna be harvesting the elderberry flowers, because I have a tea lady that buys all this stuff. Like the red clover. I'll be harvesting that all year. I got a pound bag of seeds I'm planting in the spring. And that's low growing. But, if I'm GAMP compliant, then I should be able to, do my farming. I'm not bothering anybody. I don't make a lot of noise. The guy next door to me, to the east, he always comes over and visits me and asks me how I'm doing. He's a real nice guy, So, if there's any questions, as far as like water coming in, I have a 120-gallon tank on a trailer that if there is a drought, well, with garlic, you usually don't have to worry about it because that's sufficient. That's why I planted that kind of stuff, because I'm in a wheelchair and I'm not going to be doing a bunch of high maintenance stuff. And lilies and garlic are low maintenance. The elderberries are self-sufficient, and the clover and violets are all self-sufficient. So I don't really need to bring any water in, but if there is a bad drought, I'd want to do it at least for the lilies. So I do have that, and I can fill that up in my condo.
Yes, Mike.
Under the property owner registered name, you're listed as Northwest Registered Agent. Who are you?
That's the agent that, if in case anybody wants to sue me, they have to send it to them.
It's what?
It's the agent.
Yeah, so technically, he does have an LLC, and then with an LLC, limited liability corporation, we ask for who their registered agent is, so that we know the name of the person responsible. So that's how most
Yeah,
LLCs are.
That's who gets if there's ever any issues, that's who gets it. I mean, regular stuff like from here, I give right to my condo.
Okay, another question. I don't know the details of the Farming Act, because we haven't had a whole bunch of that in Garden City since
understand.
1925, but your property is zoned in R1, a residential, single-family residential area. So when I hear organic and natural, I'm reminded that hemlock is natural, and it's also a deadly poison. So I live next door to a farm in Southern California that grew flowers for various people around the city. And they used an organic fertilizer, which was basically sterilized manure. Now, that took care of all the biological and bacterial agents of that product to make it safe, but it sure did not reduce the odor. So 4 times a year, for about 2 to almost 3 weeks, they would fertilize their fields, and it was, you could not open the window in Southern California, which,
I'm not gonna be fertilizing anything, because that soil has not been touched in like freaking, since the subdivision was built. So
I understand,
it's so fertile, my stuff grows right away. I don't have to
it's
bring it.
vacant land. I'm looking at, if we approve this tonight, what could happen in the future? That's what we always look at, especially with a special land use.
I'm not planning on doing any big noisy production. I'm just planning on doing my garlic and lilies in the middle, my clovers to the north, my white clover and violets on the front, in front of that tree line I have there in front, because they can handle the shade, and elderberries on the south side. That's all I'm planning, because I don't want to do a lot of work. I go out there for like an hour a day, because I can't work that long on the farm,
Gotcha.
you know.
What are the 3 things that you were cited for in the tickets?
I was cited for, offense, case number 25, GC 9140. Read this so small. Excess refuse. Okay, and when he did this ticket, I had just pulled up my weed barrier so I could till, and it was behind my trailer, nobody could see it, and that's why he gave me a ticket, because there's a picture of it. And then the other one was high grass. And I explained to him that I go around with a weed whacker and I cut down anything that's high, and he said, no, you have to mow. I said, no, I can't mow because I'm gonna kill all the ladybugs, I'm gonna kill all the praying mantises, and they are my natural predators against any bugs in my garden. You know, I have like about a dozen of them I saw last year living on the farm. And then the last one was parking violation. Because he told me 2 years ago that either my trailers had to be, the wheels had to be on cement or gravel. So I went and got these 18 by 18 cement patio blocks and put them underneath all of them, because he said that he had to do that so they wouldn't sink. So I did that to all my trailers. And then he gave me that ticket. He said, no, you have to put it in a driveway. I'm like,
I'm just curious about what the name of the 3 tickets are, not,
that's what they said.
okay.
Says 25 GC 9138 is parking violation.
Okay, parking violation. I went by your property today and a little while ago. there's a lot of items on the property that don't appear to be farming items.
The two tractors are.
The-
Toe dolly is because that's what I move, the box blade or the other thing with the plow. And the enclosed trailer is where all my equipment is because I don't want any of my stuff getting stolen all the time.
Sure, that's understandable.
And my boat's my boat, 'cause I like to go out on a boat, and if I own property, I should be able to have a boat.
Uh-huh, okay. All righty.
Okay,
That's it.
Did you have anything else that you wanted to point out, sir?
If you got any questions, that's it. I mean, I
Well-
pretty much explained that I'm camp compliant, and I'm getting the letter. I talked, the guy emailed me today from Michigan Department of Agricultural and Urban Development, and said that he's gonna get me a PDF file before Monday, so I can show it to the judge with the appeal. I'm camp compliant with the state. That means I have a right to farm.
Okay, well, we're not here representing the state.
I understand.
All right, if you have nothing else, then we'll,
Discuss it.
yeah, you can relax for a minute, and we'll move the discussion to the Planning Commission here. So, do we have any comments or questions?
So maybe a comment, at least the way I'm interpreting this, is it's not so much about whether the property owner can, I'll say farm, garden, whatever word you want to use. It's really, this is more of a zoning question, right? This is a residential, single-family zoned area, and the applicant is asking for an alteration to the R1.
I think the biggest issue is the possible impact on the neighbors.
Right. I guess what I'm saying is, and
Compatibility.
maybe you all can check me on this, as a planning commission, we are not making a determination on whether somebody can plant vegetables on their property. We're being asked to decide on whether we want to make a variation to the zoning ordinance.
Correct.
Well, the way the ordinance is listed is that principal uses within this particular zoning district, within the R1 one-family zoning district, by right, people have certain uses, such as, and in this district, the number one is establishing a single-family home. And as in every other zoning district, we do have a list of special land uses, which could be established in these districts, provided they comply with the approval criteria of the zoning ordinance. Sometimes we have specific approval criteria for, like, gas stations. They have to meet certain things, and then they're allowed in those other districts, not here. But in this case, it's specifically listed in the zoning ordinance that says agricultural, the use of a parcel for gardening or the production of agricultural products requires special land use approval. So you're basically determining if this application before you meets the criteria of the zoning ordinance to allow for it to be established in this location. And as my note summarizes, it really is about an issue of compatibility, if you feel like this would be compatible with the other uses in this location.
Yes. Sure, you had your turn, so just wait.
I'm kind of curious with, like what Frank was going off of, this house had a primary residence on it, we wouldn't even be discussing this.
That's correct.
No, they could have a garden in the
They could have
backyard,
whatever size garden they wanted to have in the backyard.
but they would still have to park their vehicles and trailers on a
Behind
driveway.
the fence, behind the driveway, whatever, just,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we wouldn't be looking at a larger scale operation, which might have more of an impact on the neighbors. And if they became a nuisance, then that would be another issue.
I mean, I've seen some half-acre lots with corn, so, but it's got a primary residence on it.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's exactly correct, because in those every other situation, the single-family residence is the principal use permitted by right in that district. And then all the gardening and even of corn and that sort of thing is accessory to that. And so that's why those are permitted in the residential. It is because there is no principal structure on the site that the applicant had to go this route.
Personally, I think that this could have an impact on the neighbors. I think the product he's planting, the garlic, could have an odor problem for the neighbors. I think if he does any kind of fertilizing, that could have a impact on the neighbors. He's talking about organic, and like you pointed out, manure is organic,
Sterilized, yeah,
and that can have
but not odor-free.
quite an odor, yeah. And there's no screening either to screen the neighbors from whatever activities.
Yeah,
I'm just not sure this is compatible with the neighbors being as close as they are.
I think you're right. If there was a principal structure on here that abided by the R1 criteria, we wouldn't be talking about this, except we're looking at a special land use. He's already been cited for 3 different items. I think what he's doing is fabulous. He's a farmer. We need farmers. We need lots of them. But we're looking at a special land use in a dense R1 area, and by the very nature of a special land use, we're looking at compatibility and compliance and adjacent property use, and that's the items specifically that he's been cited for, and more than likely, the reason that the ordinance officer was drawn to that area is because of the existing neighbors. So I think we have to look at this as being a great use, but not in this area.
I kind of agree. My only thing that I'm trying to understand here is if he had a 400 square foot tiny home on that residence, he could do all this and he wouldn't even be in front of us.
Unless,
There's no unless. I've never seen anybody in the city of Garden City told to stop their garden. Ever.
if you were to live next door to this property and you used manure several times a year to augment your soil, there's a potential for the neighbors to complain about that. And that's where we're at today. That's why we're having this.
No, I agree. I'm just saying.
So, you know, even if you had a house on it with a garage and you parked your boat in the garage or on a concrete slab, if you fertilized your garden with manure, you'd probably get a visit from the ordinance officer. And that would be a valid concern, you know, if you were to do that in an R1. Now, if you're out in the country, it would be less of a concern with the houses much further spaced apart.
So he had, sorry to
So although this is a great idea and we need farmers, I think we have to question the compatibility all across the board, the compatibility in an R1, the compatibility of what potentially can go on the property so far as manures, so far as,
But even if we approve this, let's just say, for argument's sake,
okay,
he could still get a call, the ordinance officer out there, if he uses manure for the odor, just as I could or you could if we plant a garden in our own backyard. I don't see.
well, he's already had a visit from the ordinance officer, so
But not
it's
for
already
manure.
become problematic to the neighbors.
Right.
Which
I think that's more distorted.
Which is the
than other things.
compatibility part that I think is key here, because when we look at item B, it's compatibility with master plan. Item C, compliance with regulations. Item D, use of adjacent property. You know, it just looks like it's violating the nature and intent of a special use permit, and it's further enhanced by the fact that he's already been cited under these items by the ordinance officer, and that the ordinance officer was drawn to that property, more than likely by complaints from
It sounds like,
surrounding
and I may be
residents.
wrong, maybe I misunderstood. It sounds like he was cited for high grass, not parking on a paved, concrete pavement, and, I don't know the other one. but those were
excessive
two.
refuge.
This is compatibility.
Yeah.
Right, which
I mean,
anyone
if
of us
I let
could
my
get if I
grass
parked
grow
in my-
high in my backyard, I can say it's, or my milkweed, I let it get 6 feet tall, I know it's great for the butterflies, and butterflies do,
I guess,
they do the same job as bees and stuff.
I guess
but
my
if-
question is, I would look at surrounding residences around there and see if any of them have gardens that back up to where his property's at. If there's other residences there, there are one, have private residents, and they have gardens that back right up to where he's at, then maybe it is a little compatible. Are they?
Well, the two houses that back up on either side, neither of them have a garden. Yes.
I just want to reiterate my point. I don't know that I care about who has a garden. To me, the question is whether or not we think this is appropriate special land use in an R1.
That's what's on the table.
That's, in my mind, the decision here.
Correct.
Why don't we hold on to that for a minute? I kind of skipped over it because of lack of anybody here that wants to be in the public hearing, but we should open the public hearing just to say that we had it.
Okay.
So it's 7:18, and we'll open the public hearing. If anybody cares to come forward to speak on this item. Ask again, does anyone care to speak on this item? No one's coming forward, so do we have any written communications of this? There are none. There are none? Okay.
Just because I want to see.
So, having no one here and no written communications, we'll close the public hearing at 7:18 and go on with the
Like this pictures from this.
Planning Commission discussion. So, gentlemen, do we,
So I want to just bring up.
yes,
So it is called Garden City, and so I just wanted to say, I mean, there are a lot of lots in this area, and I live on a half-acre lot, and I have raised garden beds, and I plan on expanding that myself. And give out to family, give out to friends, consume for myself. I think gardening is historically a critical part of our community. It's also good for, as you said, butterflies, but the environment, the bees, other neighbors who have gardens, who do sunflowers or corn or whatever it is. So it helps balance things out as, Ford Road gets urbanized, and as it grows, there's fewer and fewer green spots. So I think having natural habitat within the community is also nice to have, and especially since it's only 2 lots. The citations he had, I don't think could happen to anybody. My neighbors across the street, they let their grass grow really high. I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of land use it is, it can go higher. We have the driveways that there's no grass anymore in the front yard too, right? So there's people who have taken advantage of those things. But to the future, when this land maybe changes ownership to protect it from being abused, as recommended, to try and lock it down. So I think ironing out some of those details and not letting it just be open, I think this would be compatible, especially if neighbors aren't complaining and he has a good relationship with his neighbors. I would like to have details on that Farming Act for that, in order to remain compliant, and maybe those can be included into some of these rules for the special land use. He had said he doesn't use manure. Maybe that's something we could put into the special land use, no delivery of commercial manure or other pungent fertilizers.
it would be good to know how that act impacts our zoning ordinance.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have had experiences with the use of the Right to Farm Act. It generally has been in rural townships, and typically what it does, and the intent of the act is to ensure that that a local ordinance doesn't restrict outright agricultural practices when those practices are done under what's called GAMPS, these generally accepted agricultural management practices and services. The state, the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development does establish what is the proper way to do things such as fertilizing and other aspects of farming to make sure that they are acceptable and to make sure that they are appropriate. And so, but now, I'm not an attorney, but in my experience as a city planner and a planner to rural townships, because I've done that as well, typically the Right to Farm Act and lately the department, MDARD, has instituted some determinations on these uses that if they are in compliance, if they are commercial farm, if they are complying with the GAMPs of the area, then they would be considered a use that is consistent with the Right to Farm Act. In my personal experience, when they have that designation, then the intent is that it is a method of defense when they are brought a nuisance suit to a court of law. So it's not a permit, it's not a license, it's something in which they point out as a statement of fact in their defense when a nuisance lawsuit is brought against them. And so that's typically how it's been operated in the past. I haven't dealt with that in the last year or two, but in the past, that's how it works. And other specific aspects of the Right to Farm Act is that one, it's usually applied in a community in which they're prohibiting agricultural activities. Garden City isn't prohibiting local agricultural activities. We're just saying the process to do agricultural activities on their own. Once again, we don't prohibit them when there's a principal single-family residential structure on site, then they can do any kind of agricultural activities. We permit that, and we also permit them through this process. So we're not restricting them. We're just saying that they have to meet a certain level of criteria, which number one is compatibility. And then two, based on some of my just summaries of the act, it does appear that the act does not give a farm a right to establish itself in a residential area where the local zoning ordinance is in compliance. There's some other standards that are specific to livestock farming, and even livestock farming, if they meet the specific requirements and forgive me, I don't have them in front of me, but MDARD has specific designations for when a certain number of homes is within a certain distance of a livestock activity, then that's considered predominantly residential. Then they designate that area predominantly residential. And from what I've known in my experience, that predominant residential standard can be found in rural townships in which you're dealing with 3, 5, 10 acre lots or more. So if a certain number of homes, and I want to say the number is 8, is within a certain distance, and unfortunately I don't know the distance, then it's considered, MDARD considers it predominantly residential, and then therefore the Right to Farm Act doesn't, then you can't establish a farm in that location. But I will say that, I'm not an attorney, I don't know the act that thoroughly, and I don't know those other specifics as to what is an actual commercial farm, like what qualifies as a commercial farm is not such, but it's a very complex issue when utilizing Right to Farm Act, and like I said, I think it's generally for those instances of when a lawsuit is brought against a person undertaking these things. So, not sure. I believe it's a tool that the property owner can avail of themselves and use if they feel they've been aggrieved by a decision, but that's, a different situation, I think, than.
Okay.
I got a question.
Yes.
Being it's on 2 lots, would this be any different than like an urban garden? You go into other cities, they have urban garden areas where it's small 1, 2 lots. They tore down a home, now they're doing this.
In those areas, to the best of my knowledge, that it's a use that's listed either as a permitted use by right or a use that requires a special land use approval. The local community reviews their zoning ordinance and then states, yes, we want urban gardens in this district and these areas and under these locations, and either they give it by right to people or they ask them to go through a special use process. So that's why we're here, once again, that's why Garden City, City Council, and the Planning Commission in the past has determined when there's no principal structure and the principal use of the site is going to be gardening, this is the process they go through.
Yes.
We're not here to litigate this Farm Act from the earlier part of the century here. We have a special use application in front of us, and although you're correct, garden is in our name, and for good reason. If I have my dates correct, Garden City became a township in 1925, 100 years ago. And we became an incorporated township in 1927, almost 100 years ago. We became an incorporated city in 1933, many years ago. We're now a residential city. 92% of our tax base is from the 11,400 homes that exist here. We're not a farming community any longer. We were 100 years ago. We're not today. So if we look at this on the merits of a special use permit, it doesn't qualify.
My only argument is we have had proposals in front of us, and we've asked more commercial buildings to put in more green spaces, put them on roofs if they could do them, because we want more green spaces. But now we're going to possibly not approve a special land use because we're not taking away green space and putting a primary residence. Kind of contradictory.
Yeah.
I did look up garlic. It can have a strong odor, but if you process it, the odor is significantly stronger. So I think if we were to try and move forward with this, restricting the processing of the goods, agricultural goods, would probably
I
be
think when it's growing,
prudent.
it can also have an odor.
It did, online it did say that it could, so being in the center of the lot, I don't know how much the odor would drift, especially surrounded by half-acre lots, and the nearest home, I forget what the distance you said was, 60.
I don't know the distance.
Yeah.
Oh, in terms of the current one, yes, the 60.
Yeah, so I don't know how far that would really get into a house if it
Well,
was centered, but,
even-
yeah.
I don't think we just have to look at how far away the house is, but people like to use their yards too. And
Correct.
if there's a strong odor in the yard that prevents them from using that, that's not right either.
A number of years ago, we had an issue about somebody raising bees in their backyard. And we like honey, we need honey. That's a great idea. Only problem is their neighbors couldn't use their backyards,
Yeah.
and therein lied the problem.
Even though, let's say we take garlic off the table, wouldn't that be an ordinance issue? Even if we gave special land uses, he chose to do garlic the first year, neighbors called and complained, wouldn't that be an ordinance issue to get him not to grow it? If there was a strong smell, no different than the
It
weed.
might be, except we have a special land use on the table tonight, and that's what we're debating. The special land use, does it qualify? Is this something good for not only the applicant, but the surrounding areas? And that goes back to the compatibility issue. I mean, sure, you can have bees in your backyard, no problem. But if your neighbors can't use their property in the normal fashion that you would use in an R1 application, then it's a problem. So if you come before asking for permission to have a use that creates a problem for your neighbors under a special land use, then we have to say no. If you can raise your bees and it doesn't become a problem for your neighbors, and it's just an ordinance thing, that's something totally different. But we're asking to codify something that is already a problem to the neighbors. So I agree with your premise about the, the green spaces and that, but there's already 3 tickets that have been written and taken in front of our local magistrate because of this, and that's why we're talking about a special land use. So I don't think we want to go against the ordinance officer and the complaints of the surrounding people by saying this is all fine.
Well, unless somebody has something new to add to the conversation, I think maybe we should consider a motion at this time.
I think the applicant is raising his hand.
Yes, you have something else to say, sir?
Yes, okay, my property, the reason I'm trying to make lemons out of lemonade, the property is uninsurable because there's no fire hydrant on that street, and there's supposed to be a fire hydrant in the street to be able to get insurance on that property. That's why I'm gardening. If the city put the water line in there, then I'll be all set. I can build a house there. So that's why I'm trying to make lemonade out of lemons. Because the property is just pretty much worthless unless I garden on it. That's it. Thank you.
Okay.
The motion maker does make a motion. I just want to remind you to state the findings of fact in the motion, please.
Yes, and I think we can refer to the special use recommendations. Anyone care to make a motion? What we're looking at is a motion for a recommendation for the council for the special land use. We're not denying or approving, we're recommending one way or the other.
Not to belabor, just one other question. Are there other special land uses for this purpose in an R1 today? Do we know?
To the best of my knowledge, no, we don't have any.
So we recommending to go for it to go in front of council for special land use that we're doing? They would approve it? It would just be our.
Well, they would either approve or deny it, or take our recommendation. Then we also have to look at the site plan, see if we approve or table or deny.
Well, I'll make a motion to deny. And I'm sorry. My concern is that with the R1, it's meant for people that are living there, for primary residents. It is not meant for owners to garden or farm the land. So I will reference Mr. Ortega's letter citing the purpose use is incompatible with the adjacent resident uses due to the size of the site, scale of the equipment operations, and proximity to adjacent residences, that the proposed use will interfere with the use of adjacent property due to the lack of screening and buffering distance, that the lack of information regarding the ability to provide water and/or other necessary public services, although I will acknowledge that the applicant did reference a water truck in the event it's needed. Number 4, the resulting agricultural production use will be an isolated use within a residential neighborhood. And number 5, that the lack of a demonstrated need for the proposed use.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's made and supported. Are there any comments or questions on the motion? Would the Secretary take the roll, please?
Commissioner King,
Aye.
Commissioner Steenberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Daniels,
Okay?
Commissioner Williams,
Nay.
Chairperson May.
Aye.
Motion does pass 3-2 to deny the special land use recommendation to the council.
Okay, since, if you could clarify this for me, since we denied the recommendation, should we still go through the site plan approval process?
I would think at this time you would table it would be the best. I think.
Table it?
Do you agree, Mr. Ortega?
That is definitely an option. It would require the applicant to come back, should they get the approval from the city council. But it would not require any kind of special public hearing at that point. It would just be
Right.
normal approval.
I think probably tabling at this point would be the most appropriate action. Someone cares to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to table this,
The site plan?
the site plan, yes.
Support.
Any questions or comments on the motion? Take the roll, please.
Commissioner Steenberg,
Aye.
Commissioner King,
Aye.
Commissioner Daniels,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Chairperson May.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0 to table.
Okay, your site, or your special land use goes to the city council. Our recommendation is to deny, but it's up to them to decide finally whether or not they want to go ahead with it. And if that's true, then you would come back here to go through the site plan with us. Thank you for your time. Okay. Next item, PPL 25-0012, request for a special land use and site plan approval to construct a gas station and convenience store building with a drive-through restaurant at 31406 Ford Road in the C3 General Business Zoning District. And Mr. Ortega, want to start us off here?
For you tonight is a revised site plan from the applicant. This is our third review of the special land use and the site plan. So the site plan set dated October 31st, 2025, just a brief summary, has been substantially altered to address the comments from our previous discussions and review. But to specifically talk about the special land use issues, number one, when it comes to compatibility with adjacent uses, just to reiterate the point on page 2, that the applicant is required to have the building 40 feet away from any residentially zoned property. They have proposed the building to be 30 feet away from the residentially zoned property to the west. So therefore, but they've also modified this site plan to state they would be installing a new 6-foot-tall masonry screening wall along that western property line. That's a modification on their part. So I just wanted to point that out, that as any kind of approval would require the applicant to obtain a 10-foot variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals. And if they don't receive that variance, then they would have to come back with a modified plan in compliance with that 40-foot setback requirement. And then going through, in general, just a reminder that this site has been rezoned to C3. It is in the master plan designated general commercial, and the master plan does state that gas stations and restaurants are two examples of uses that are intended for this district. Other ways in which they've addressed some of the previous issues we've discussed when it comes to the impact on traffic, they have provided some revised access points and ingress and egress configurations on Ford Road and on Merriman Road. They also have provided communications they've had with Michigan Department of Transportation And the applicant right now is proposing a right turn egress-only driveway approach onto Ford Road. So it would only be exit out, making the traffic go to the right on Ford Road. And based on the email provided from the applicant, from MDOT, they state that there are no issues approving the right turn egress only. Excuse me. And then similarly, with regards to Merriman Road, they have provided a reconfiguration, and it shows a two-way egress drive on Merriman that is approximately 89 feet from Crowder, and then a right turn egress-only driveway on Merriman Road that's about 25 feet from the Ford Road intersection. Then they provided communication from Wayne County stating that a preliminary review has been conducted. Now just to reiterate, these are just communications. They're not any kind of official approvals yet from either MDOT or Wayne County. And we would point out, while I just want to alter my underlying text there under paragraph E, stating that that because this is an MDOT road and because this is a Wayne County road, any access onto those two roads is the purview of those two agencies. And so any kind of approval would be, any changes of that configuration should be left to the agencies that have that authority and the agencies that are experts in what creates the most safest configuration. I just wanted to point that out, that I believe your reasoning to have the applicant go to these agencies is to obtain their expertise. And so I think any kind of further discussion on that would hinge on just ensuring that they get the approval from those agencies. And it seems like, at this point, there is a way forward for them to get some type of access in and out that would be acceptable to both of those agencies. So focusing on leaving MDOT and Wayne County to grant that approval is probably most appropriate. And then looking at some of the specific requirements for special land use requirements for automobile filling stations or gas stations. They're still in compliance with minimum lot area, minimum lot width. They have revised the canopy locations to be in compliance with our 20-foot setback from Merriman Road. They are in compliance with our ingress and egress width configurations, and they have added notes as required by the zoning ordinance regarding that they will not allow any outside storage on the site, and there will not be any vehicle sales on the site. So the site plan before you is in compliance with the gas station special land use standards. And then also with regards to the drive-through special land use standards, they have revised the site plan to show that the driveway approaches are in compliance. Is another criteria there. The one aspect that does need to be addressed by the applicant would be that the details on the type of speakers proposed, including the details on the sound level, should be specified on the site plan. They have been relocated to be the furthest points away from the residential property, but that one last standard specific to drive-throughs is still outstanding. So in the end, when it comes to special land use, if the Planning Commission determines that the site meets the standards of approval for special land use, we would advise that any recommendation of approval to the council you grant be contingent upon the applicant obtaining a 10-foot variance, the applicant providing details of the speaker system, that the applicant receive site plan approval, and then the applicant receive approval for Ford Road and Merriman Road from MDOT and Wayne County, then also, of course, city engineer and fire marshal approval. Those are the special land use criteria. We could speak to those, or I could go over site plan as well.
Are there any questions about the special land use?
One, concerning state of Michigan, looking at this, from the center line of the driveway on the east side to Ford Road, what is that distance there? And is the state of Michigan okay with left turns on southbound or northbound traffic, as well as The right turns, of course, would not be a concern, but the distance from Ford Road to the center line of that driveway, being as how that's only 2 lanes, I'm curious what their thoughts on that are.
Hear me, for MDOT on Ford Road or for the Merriman?
Wayne County,
Yeah,
Merriman.
Wayne County.
If you're traveling northbound on Merriman Road, your only access point is on the east side there.
Right, yeah.
Are they, I'm curious what that distance is. Is it, I see 120. Is that from the center line of the approach on the east side to Ford Road?
I haven't made that measurement. I do know that from my own measurement, from Crowder Road down to the northern edge of that ingress drive is about 89 feet. So there's
Okay,
that
so
distance.
using that scale, I think the 120 is probably center line of that approach on the east side to the edge of Ford Road, not the center line. Is that correct? This one right here. From the
That is
edge
the
of
width-
Ford Road to the center line of the approach on the east side.
He's referring to the most egress point.
That's, the 120 you're seeing is the width of the median.
It's the
Okay.
width of Merriman.
Yeah.
Because you have 30 feet right away from this, and then you have another 25 feet to the right-hand turn out in there.
It's 120 feet wide.
Okay, my concern doesn't have to do with that. My concern is if you're traveling northbound on Merriman Road, you only have one ingress point to the property, and that's on the east side here. And how far is that from Ford Road to that area? Because if it backs up traffic going into your facility, that only leaves 1 lane. Now, Merriman Road is the second busiest road third busiest road, excuse me. The first busiest on north-south is Middle Belt intersection at Ford Road. The second busiest is Canton Center, and the third busiest is Merriman. It's also the main way into Metropolitan Airport, but that would be heading southbound. So I'm curious about the northbound traffic and what the stacking distance is going to be, because that only leaves 1 lane open. And I'm,
Over 100 feet.
Yes, Mr. Ortega, what'd you have?
I just want to point out that the communication from Wayne County Roads indicated that they, while the approach seems acceptable at this point, they are going to require the applicant to obtain a traffic impact study. So I would imagine that would indicate that
Okay.
it's probably going to be utilized so they can
I
determine
think
that.
probably we should let their traffic experts decide.
I agree.
Yeah, that's what, and so I think that's the point of that. is
Yeah,
that-
the one thing I think we should insist on, though, along with this, is signage. We need to put up signage on people exiting, saying right turn only, and we need also a couple of signs saying exit only on the other side.
Absolutely. And I would think any signage that reinforces the configuration that is eventually approved by MDOT and Wayne County would be the
Yeah.
way we phrase it. Whichever configuration MDOT and Wayne County have, the applicant can just provide signage that
Yeah, I
just
think-
reinforces
yeah, I
it.
think-
And they already have some.
You asked for it,
Yeah.
we did label it, and we complied with everything that everybody's asking.
I don't want to restrict people getting into your business, but I see the potential for Wayne County possibly restricting left turns into the property, and I just want to know that before we approve it. If they,
Our approval would be contingent on their approval.
okay, if they're okay with
that's
it,
all
I'm
we've gotta
okay
do.
with it, because that's your only ingress and egress.
Yeah, the only thing I can say, as far as me being a customer over there, not an architect or anything like that, I mean, if we just prohibit also that last approach, I guess, there's no way to get into the site.
I-
I don't think,
Right.
this lands are created that way. I mean, houses have the potential of having a drive off a certain road. I know in our neighborhood, off of Ford Road, there's a lot of homes that have two driveways sometimes for a circular drive to circle in and out. I mean, if they're allowed to do that, I mean, a business has to have the right to have at least one approach, and that's what I know. And if I was an attorney or something, or I could fight it, or maybe it was more passionately my property, I would fight for a ingress and egress on Ford Road to come in. Even though the left turn I'm against, and this prohibits left turns because it's too close to the intersection, I would have at least had them allow us to have a right hand in and a right hand out with a little island in the middle. I mean, it helps.
with
I mean,
you.
why are we opening a business for? And, it doesn't make sense.
Okay, just a second. Yes.
I drove around, we gave you guys kind of a hard time about right-hand turns. I drove around to Ford Road in Inkster, Ford Road in Vinoy. A lot of the approaches are closer than we're permitting him. At Ford and Inkster, it's pretty much right after the light, you turn into that gas station. At Ford and Vinoy, it is immediately, I don't think there's 20 feet. So for him
Well,
not to
some of
have, for him
them may
not,
not be according to our current code.
Some of them may be grandfathered.
some of them have been upgraded since our current code, which they would
But
have to become code compliant.
their drives weren't changed at that point, though.
I'm just saying, I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be able to have an access going westbound on Ford Road onto that property.
Well, then we
That is
view
not our
it as,
determination, though,
Yeah, it's
Commissioners.
still-
I do want to reiterate that we're going into territory that we don't have the authority to comment or to
But
make
we
approvals.
asked for this.
This is strictly up to the
Well,
county and the
we asked
state.
that they get something to comply, and this is what will comply at this time to MDOT.
Yeah, no, we
so
had.
our
extensive-
approval is contingent upon a subsequent approval.
So
Okay.
if MDOT approved,
If they can get two in and MDOT approves it, I don't feel that the planning commission has the right, and the city doesn't have the right actually to do that. They would probably have to appeal to the state in order to change the approval that they have now, is the process. And it's their process, not our process. I just want to keep us out of the weeds of that so that we focus on really the matter at hand, really the land use, not the accessibility is not for us.
So my concern has already been addressed by the county and the state, and/or the state, about potential left turn?
Yeah.
They're in the
Okay,
process of
I'm
doing
good
that.
then.
Yeah, I mean, what I can tell you, just so you could feel better, is that we had extensive talks with Wayne County and MDOT. We had multiple times communicating with them to see if we can do something a little different, like what I just said, on the idea of a right-hand turn in. They
You
didn't
see
allow
what
it.
my potential concern is, if the traffic backs up, it could potentially back up to Ford Road, which when the light turns green going east and westbound on Ford Road could create a hell of a problem. And the fact that you have three separate businesses here, they may all be one owner, but you have a drive-through for food, you have a Minute Mart type store, and you have a gas station. So I don't want to see us create a major headache on Ford Road in Merrimack, but if Wayne County and
We're
Michigan...
not the ones creating any headache. It's up to the state and the
Okay.
county.
Yeah,
So,
okay, good.
So, yeah, I mean, the outcome was, we were satisfied with the right-hand turn out on Ford Road with MDOT. And then eventually, we spoke to Wayne County, and they gave us an official letter, actually, not an email. This was an official letter, too?
It was a letter, actually. Forgive me. Yeah, that was a letter from Wayne.
Yeah,
from
that
Wayne
was an actually
County.
letter deleting the one-way in and one-way out, which we never wanted. We wanted one-way in from Merriman. I mean, for the people that are coming southbound, I don't think it causes any harm there. But they just wanted a right turn, and we're living with that. The owner's living with that. And then that one approach that we have north of Ford Road is the only approach that we have actually, no one's really going to make a left turn. I don't know if they're going to attempt to make a left turn. It's the people, we're trying to grab the people now coming south on Merriman toward Ford Road. Those are really the main people that are going to hopefully
Yeah.
go in there, or the regulars.
there is a left turn lane there that if there's not traffic backed up to it, they can get into the left turn lane. But typically during rush hours, traffic backs up a long ways at that light.
Yeah, most people are just going to avoid it. I mean, I would avoid it. I mean,
Yeah,
I get in those situations a lot, and most of the time I just take a right and then do a whole different route.
yeah.
So hopefully, you know, the people that go to
Okay.
that gas station will do the same.
Mr. Ortega, were you finished?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I think Chairman Daniels might have an issue.
Is this an appropriate time to ask questions about the layout? Was that going to be the site,
Why don't we hold off for
Yeah.
the site plan?
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, then I have nothing.
Okay. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about?
So, yeah, we worked hard with Mario, and we complied with everything. I mean, it wasn't something that we did overnight. You could see that it took, last time we've been here, what, a couple months? I think in August. So we wanted to comply with every single question. I mean, if you found something, you know, of course, I mean, in his report, of course, we found something after the DTE. The biggest issue was the DTE, and we got approval on that, 100%. It's going to cost them about $31,000, but that's what they're going to have to swallow. To reroute the electric lines northbound around the building on, through Crowder, how do you spell it? pronounce that?
Crowder.
Crowder Street.
Yeah,
And then back around where the pole is.
yeah.
So they did their study, DTE gave us a letter, and they gave them the fee, and it's good to go, once we get
Yeah,
this
that's
approval.
good.
So, but by doing that, you know, Mario did on his report ask for, to relook at the species of the trees and make sure they don't grow a certain height, so they
Yeah.
interact with the lines, and we'll take a
Yeah.
second look at that.
Okay. Yeah, that would be a contingency that we'd have to insist on because we don't want to create future problems, you know. Did you have something?
Is the electrical site plan, or is that special use?
I had it under site plan.
Is that on the site plan or? is it-
Yeah, I had it under site plan.
Okay, yeah, that's site plan.
I did have, I think it applies to this. For the drive-through, there was a comment about the study for the radius going around the corner,
Yeah.
where the length of the vehicle was 15 feet, 6 inches. Isn't that a little short for trucks and large SUVs? Would they be able to make it past
Yeah,
that
there's another
corner
plan here. I don't wanna-
if that was the study?
Sure. I thought that was sufficient, but I can see.
I believe trucks are.
We had turning radiuses for fuel tankers.
Fuel truck, tankers, dump trucks, there was on SP-8. There's a
there-
turning radius for the
For
drive-through
the
as well.
garbage truck and, yeah,
Yeah, for the vehicles through the drive-through itself, there's a turning radius on that turn. I just want to pose the question if the study takes into account larger passenger vehicles, trucks and SUVs.
Like if a fuel truck.
I would think that.
A fuel truck ain't going through the drive-through.
Yeah, I'm talking specifically the
He's
drive-through.
not talking about the fuel truck or the garbage truck.
No, he actually, yeah,
Oh,
I
you-
believe Commissioner
Okay.
Daniels is referring to the fact that, yeah, about some of the larger
SUVs going through the
passenger trucks,
drive-through
we can get
process.
it to be about 20 feet.
Yeah.
Radius, believe
Just
me,
look-
you wanna put it if you don't
Google.
remember.
Yeah,
Ford F-150 is a 209 to 250 inches in length. They
Yeah.
can get up to a little bit over 20 feet. So that might be something that needs to be tweaked as well, yes.
okay.
Because we did have that as a concern. Now, it was under site plan, but it's a good thing to point out that the applicant has addressed all the majority of the other issues in terms of vehicle circulation. The fuel truck will work, we can get into the garbage truck now or later, but
I was only bringing up the drive-through because I thought it was the
You
special
don't have the
use.
turning
yes,
radiuses
no,
on the
absolutely right.
drive-through, though?
no, but no, he correctly brings it up now because the drive-through is a special use, and to make sure that it functions appropriately, it would be necessary to ensure that
Yeah.
vehicles can
50 foot
exit
something.
or enter and effectively. So yeah, it might be necessary to tweak those radii and then the size of the location of the building footprint.
Yeah, the northeast corner of the building is the only spot that we would
Correct.
full wide drive.
That-
Mr. Steenberg's plans.
No,
Thank you.
I thought you were growling at me.
might warrant to do a turn-in from, if somebody is driving from the north and turning
That-
in.
That radius as well. Oh, yeah, you're right. Do
I would
analysis
say-
of that curb.
Yeah.
That's right, too.
Northwest is showing 19. Looks to be about the same.
So basically, he's indicating that the vehicle used to study the turning radius is about 15 feet in length, whereas if you get some of the other vehicles, they're more about, can be up to 20 feet in length.
This is 20.
Right.
And so
No, this is-
the graphic used at the northeast corner of the building, when a car's driving through the parking lot, through the drive-through, when a car's driving through the drive-through and he's making that first left turn behind the building, it's a little tight already with the 15-foot, so probably it should be revised to accommodate a 20-foot vehicle length, and would use whatever radius is determined. So that would just involve, I would assume, modifications to the building footprint in that location, just to provide more clearance for
I mean,
vehicles.
we did-
Yeah, right
we did,
now-
And that's something that
We
could
did
be-
chamfer the corners, and he is showing that there's a 19.2 radius, almost a 20-foot radius right there.
Right, and I'm not an engineer, but I believe the radius is what's the design of the curb to allow for the vehicle, but that 19-foot radius is based upon a 15-foot long vehicle. So they need to have so it would just be about confirming, I would consider this an administrative site plan to make sure that, to confirm with your engineer, well, you.
We'll reconfirm
that, yeah.
with the engineer, and,
Yeah, yeah.
and at the same time, yeah, if we have to chamfer a little bit more, then we will.
Yeah, and that would be the only thing. I think it would be a little bit additional chamfering.
Okay.
But it's important to make sure, because we're discussing the drive-through special use.
Which is the-
And we want to make sure that it functions. And if it doesn't function, if a
A lot
vehicle
of
can't
pickup
fit through,
trucks
it's not
around,
functioning.
and most of them are 20 feet long.
Okay, yeah.
They'll order a
Don't
lot.
want them to tear up the building as they're trying to navigate the
No, and they
corner.
don't want problems. I mean, if a person's gonna have a problem turning one time, they're not gonna come through that drive-through anymore.
That's right.
So, no, I'm glad you brought it up, but.
The guys in the trucks eat a lot more too, so
Huh?
they'll be ordering a lot more food.
Yeah, those trucks are just getting too big, man. They gotta downsize them a little bit.
Yeah, get bigger all the time. All right. Will, where are we in the
You're
discussion?
on two numbers, two, maybe moving to number three. I don't know if there's any more questions. So business item 2, subset A2.
To our public comments.
Okay, did you have any other comments you wanted to make before we,
I mean, the most concerns that we think that you guys had, I think we addressed them. Other than that, it's something like landscaping can always be changed. Lighting, I think he mentioned something. but
Couple
I-
notes.
Just,
But other than that, there's nothing else that I've seen in here, that would concern you guys. It would concern anybody, to concern the public, concern yourself. We're just hoping that you guys are going to approve this according to us complying with everything.
well, we may have some contingencies that you would be able to work out with Mr. Ortega.
Yes, yeah. No, I've seen them in here.
you need a special land use
Yeah.
first, right? Okay.
Okay, so were you done with your comments?
I'm done, yes.
Okay.
Now, there is one, I'm sorry, there is one, now that I'm looking at the list. The color of you didn't like the fact that there was some gray on the building.
Yeah,
You want it
the
all
block was gray,
earth tone.
yeah.
I mean, they do want to match, maybe Sue could to talk to that. They want,
100 Oakland Ford Road station, it's going to look exactly like that.
they want to match that same look because all their stations have the same look, but, I mean, for them to change the color of it, or if you approve it according to what they have on Henry Ruff and Ford Road, this is up for discussion, I guess, and then you can speak to the owner's representative on that.
Yeah, your comments recommended either tan or a beige or
Yeah, just-
brown.
Yeah, typically they
For the
they
block,
complement
rather-
each other a little bit better. It's just what we normally see. Some community, technically, we don't have any specific design standards in this C2 district, so it's more just a point of discussion if that was a concern of the planning commission, just a point to bring up. But if there's a method for the color, it's just, you know,
Yeah,
a gray tends to present like a less finished appearance, more of a, you know, old school concrete block.
and those split front
situation.
face blocks are available in different colors, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what's,
Chairperson May, can I just?
Yes, go ahead.
Do you want to entertain a motion for the special land use, so we get through that, and then?
yeah, is this
That's a site
item
plan.
in your site plan?
That was in a site plan.
Yeah, so why don't we go ahead with the special land use, and we'll talk about that issue when we get to the site plan.
Okay. Yeah, if you don't have-
So I will make a motion to recommend to the city council that we approve the special land use with the conditions that the county and state approve the ingress egress, that the applicant gets site plan approval today, and that the applicant confirms the turning radius of the drive-through. And items 1 through 5 in Mr. Ortega's letter.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's made to recommend approval of the special land use and supported. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, would you take the roll, please?
Commissioner Kane,
Aye.
Commissioner Steenberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Daniels,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Chairperson May.
Aye.
The motion does carry 5-0.
Okay, moving on to the site plan.
Concerning that color, don't we want to let them maintain their corporate branding as we've done in the past with such stores as Rite Aid with the unusual shaped windows with the blue and all that?
I don't think it raises to the same level of corporate branding. They've got another gas station that has that color, but I don't think there's that kind of connection,
Okay.
personally.
I mean,
But,
gray or tan,
I mean,
think
tan is a warmer color. That's about all I can say about it.
You know what I
Okay.
You know what I could suggest, I mean, with her approval, is that, how about if we maintain the three sides, the side on Merriman, the side on the back, because the back wants, we want it to be presentable, even though it's the back of the building, and the side of the residential, which is on the driveway, the drive-through side, where they pick up their food, we could make those all the red brick that they use on there, and then on the front, if you allow him just to use some of that split-face block according to what they have designed right there.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, if that helps.
How does everybody feel about the color?
That sounds
I
great.
don't see a problem with the one, the way it looks at Henry Ruff and Ford Road. I think that one looks good, so.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
I don't mind either way.
I think we can stick with your gray.
No problem. We'll try to design it
And the
anyways
other-
with
the
a
other-
lot more brick than.
Right, the other sides of the building are all red brick, right?
I mean, the building at Ford.
No, we don't want it to be all
Henry
red brick,
Ruff.
but, you know, maybe at the bottom, some split face, and then a limestone sill, and then the rest of it is brick. So like maybe 30 to 36 inch of that limestone.
On that split face, can you get that in different colors, or do you have to spray it?
So, yeah, they do have colors that can be baked, those colors, but we don't, you could spray it. I did spray buildings like that, but it's nicer if you just buy it already baked in, you know, right through the.
Probably more durable if you buy the baked-in.
Yeah, no, I've been doing a lot of buildings like that, by the way. And I just was mentioning it to her, so she said, you know, we'll bring it up to the doctor and see
Okay.
if they can just tweak the colors, but keep it all earth tone in a sense.
Sure.
Okay.
So we'll play with that a little bit.
Site plan.
So, Chairman, may, if I may?
Yes, go ahead.
We've already discussed, approached some of the site plan issues. It was about the brick, and it's whichever they prefer, the corporate effort. But then one other thing I just wanted to point out in terms of vehicle circulations on the site is the dumpster location. The way the dumpster location is proposed, it can be accessed by a dump truck, but then it's just when the turning movements on the graphic end, they don't show how the vehicle would exit. So meaning they'd have to back up more, and I don't feel there's
Have
enough.
to back up basically into a parking
Yeah, into a
area.
parked car, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think if they just flip some of the parking spaces with the that are adjacent to the dumpster enclosure.
Put the dumpster enclosure at the far end of the lot.
Yeah, or maybe give it at least a couple more, because you don't necessarily, I mean, you could put it at the far end of the lot, it'll be adjacent to the residents at that point. So that's why I was saying, you give
Well,
them-
we would have to extend the wall not down that far anyway. wouldn't
True,
we?
yeah, no, that's true. But it's just something to make sure that it functions effectively. So just making, so my comment was mainly to ensure that the location of the enclosure functions for a dump truck.
Yeah, if it was moved down to the end, it would be able to back into the drive-through lane rather than the parking area.
And even if there was a vehicle parked at that drive-through window, there's still an extra 20 feet between where a parked car is in front of the building versus where that other vehicle that's at the window. So they get the extra 20 feet, even if the dump truck is at there during the time when the customer is available.
Yeah.
So-
But you know,
I have Mario go through his.
Yeah,
Bring
that's
up
what he was doing.
another radius question. For the fuel truck coming in, it looks like it coincides with the dumpster footprint,
Oh, okay.
and it's already turning underneath the canopy.
Yeah.
Now, there's a note that there's a canopy clearance, so I'm not concerned about that. But if there's a car at that pump and they're trying to make that turn, that's a very tight turn to make. So to your point, moving the dumpster to another location would help alleviate.
Yeah, alleviate that. Oh, that's a good point, yeah.
You know, the front of the dumpster to the parking spots to the north, which is abutting the building, that, you have 35 feet. 35 feet is a lot of room. Usually they're 20-foot aisleways. We got 35, we got an extra 15, almost
Well,
double.
I was specifically referring to the fuel truck coming through on its radius. The path that you've listed here on page SP-8, it conflicts with the dumpster footprint, so it overlaps.
Oh, well, the thing is, you know, they don't both come at the same time. Usually the dumpster trucks
But
come only one time.
he's saying it conflicts with the location of the dumpster enclosure wall.
Yeah, the wall of the dumpster
Oh, the
enclosure.
wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be- it's very tight if
We're
you-
gonna give up a parking space, but we could.
But
we could
it
move
would be
to
the added benefit if you just flip them a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think you'd have to give up a space, you'd
No.
just flip it so
Just
there's
rearrange.
a space at the end and move the dumpster enclosure further to the west.
But even if we gave up one parking spot and turned this, because I told them to always turn it on a 45 degree angle or some
Yeah.
kind of nice, angle that would help the truck to come in and pick up. We're willing to give up one space if we could put it on a 45 and move it in. Would that be even better?
I think that, so my dad owns property, commercial strip in Livonia, and he just redid his lot, and he had a lot of tear up on the asphalt from the dump trucks making very tight turns. So I don't think you have to, but I'd probably recommend it, just so that it improves the life of the asphalt in the parking lot for the owner.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to see, and I know most cities prefer an angled, pickup and delivery and stuff like that.
But I do think your configuration here with a 90-degree, it works, like you said, it works for access, it's just that exit. So you could either, if you could revise the graphic that shows that a dump truck can effectively exit out of that configuration, that's fine. Commissioner Daniels is just pointing out that you get the added benefit when you flip it, or like just scoot it down a little bit. You get the added benefit of giving a little bit more freedom to your vehicle delivery truck so that they can get there a little bit, just that little bit extra room.
We will.
Well, either one,
Yeah.
that should be corrected. It should either be angled or moved down a little bit.
Oh, that's a good point, yeah.
Yep, either one works.
Oh, no, I see what you're saying.
We
yes.
would need to see it one way or the other.
Yeah.
No, I see your point too, that, yeah.
I have a question about the electrical.
Yes, sir.
As far as feeding the building, are you doing that by overhead or by a transformer pad that would be placed next to the building?
As far as I know now, we're overhead. I mean, that's what DTE was saying.
Just looking at it.
He's showing
You guys got
the
this set
transformer?
up, huh?
I don't, okay, go ahead. So-
Well, from the letter, it said that when I reroute the pole, I will need to install a pole at the same time to feed the underground transformer.
Then he wants a transformer or some kind of underground.
So then my question is, if you're gonna put a transformer pad, they usually sit pretty close to the building sometimes, where are you gonna put it on this lot?
We have so much room on this west side, but
It's going to be in the way of the drive-through wherever you put it.
That's why I questioned, I just thought, with this layout, I thought you might be doing it from overhead.
yeah, but he's asking for a transformer, and now I think I remember when I read that letter a while back. I don't know why my engineer didn't address that, but we want to try to design these things because with these kind of gas stations and stuff, we can get away, I think, without a transformer. They want underground, but we can provide enough electric without having a transformer. I mean, I have a bigger gas station than this with a carryout. They turned it into a coffee house, actually. In Dearborn, East Dearborn, on Michigan, in Greenfield, and we don't have a transformer. We have underground, but what I remember there, it just, we provided the PVC right to the pole.
Right.
I mean, well, we provided the PVC right coming out of our building, and then DTE did the rest.
I would probably say this kind of falls under Wayne County and MDOT, where we would leave it to DTE based off the load calculations to advise us on what is supposed to be done and reasonable. I don't think if there's a transformer, it would be nice to see it on the drawings.
Oh, yeah, that's
But-
my only thing, is they don't have a place next to the building to put it.
Yeah.
Not with the current layout.
The only other place is in this corner, the northwest corner, where we can provide like a little landscape island. And then we gotta abide by certain setbacks for that transformer.
Right.
But we have a lot of room in that corner right here. This west end now is like kind of empty because we're 40 feet away. So we have a lot of space in that sense. I mean,
Okay. One other thing you had, okay, we talked about the landscaping and changing those trees.
I did notice on page SP-2, it says that you have 22 parking spaces. But then in the letter from Tega, it says it says 20 spaces are being provided. Or is that just a requirement that you need 20 spaces? I was just getting clarification.
The minimum off-street requirement is 18.
Okay,
And I believe they provide beyond that. And-
okay,
that's it.
or 16.
16.
Yeah. 10 for the convenience store and 6 for the carry-out restaurant.
Okay, so then the number, so
So
then,
minimum required is 16. They are now providing 18.
It's good to have.
So they have 2 extra spaces.
okay, regardless, it's fine then.
You got so many.
Okay.
Okay. Lighting, did we clear up the notes for lighting? Our recommendation is that a note must be added stating that the fixtures shall be full cutoff, pointed directly downward, and that there also must be a note stating that no light fixtures shall be mounted on the roof of the fuel canopy or any structure.
So I might have missed it. I thought I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see it?
But
Yeah, I
if
mean-
it's there, that's great.
If we have a photometric plan here.
Yeah, you know, I know, yeah. And the photometric plan is great, it's just those two notes. I know nothing is proposed, but we just want to ensure that no lights are mounted to the roof of the canopy.
Okay.
Like the BP on Ford Road and,
And it's not on the site, no notes on the
rough.
site plan either, huh?
Yeah, I just couldn't find it, so.
Yeah, when I do the, I mean, I do these site plans, I'm the one that kind of designs it first, but then on these bigger projects, I give it to my engineer to finalize, and it seems like, because at one time, I did put a note for all the lights to be shielded down, but I didn't put a note for, that extra note for the lights that are gonna be projecting. We usually, I mean, I can't say that, I've seen some people put in that projection lights, yeah. But we will comply and we will put those notes on.
Maybe the layer just got turned off or something.
Okay. Next, the sidewalks must be inspected, the existing sidewalks, just to make sure they're in good repair.
Yes.
So,
All the sidewalks are gonna be new. There's no sidewalks up Merriman, is there? No.
Well, I think there might be, but the Merriman ones are not in good condition. I think the Crowder one was okay, but
I think there may be on Merriman,
Yeah, I
but
think
not
there is.
Ford
they're
Road.
not good.
But
Yeah.
all that'll be tore up during the construction, be new when you're done anyhow, so.
okay. All right, well, is there any other comments or questions?
I did, just a note, I did notice on SP-4, it looks like there might have been a change at some point, the dumpster detail, enclosure detail, because on that page, it doesn't show the oil
Oh, yeah,
canister, so.
that's a good one, too.
Well, can you repeat that again?
Oh, yeah, no worries. On
dumpster enclosure?
the detail on SP-4 for the dumpster enclosure, it's not updated to reflect the change in dimensions and the addition of the oil
Oh, yeah,
canister.
no,
The
it's
standard
fine.
10-foot wide rather than one that, rather than the revised one that is
Just-
wide enough to hold the oil.
Yeah.
grease
I'll make
trap.
sure we revise it according to the site plan. Because we need that extra space for that dumpster
Yeah.
enclosure because of that grease trap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just noticed a variation on the pages, so I wanted to bring it up. And then the last thing I had was the door from, I think, what page is it? On the A-1, the back room door on the northeast corner opens up into the driveway, into the drive-through. So just a note for, employees and personnel in there that might be hazardous. I don't have any recommendations to make, just
I mean,
making a
the door
point.
has to swing with egress, it would show. mean,
I understand.
For code compliance, but,
Yep. I just wanted to point that out, that
Yeah.
it opens up into potentially traffic, so.
yeah, I mean, if the building inspector, when they finally review it. for
Right, when they
building
do
things,
that.
If he approves it coming in, it would be better, but no, I don't think it's gonna happen. It's just for emergency purposes, I think, that one.
Okay.
'Cause deliveries seems like are gonna come through the front. It's hard to come from the back.
Yeah,
know
I don't think,
what's gonna happen,
Impossible.
but we can take that up with the building official.
Yep, I just wanted to
There's
bring it
actually
up.
2 doors that are doing that in the back.
Yeah.
And recently, we've had to build like a small,
Proposed
almost like
addition.
a hallway to where that door opens to the outside into an egress coming back into the building, so it doesn't.
You know what we can do,
The building inspector might.
we can, if we, yeah, I mean, I've seen it in a lot of places. I mean, we can build, just carve out the building
Right.
where the door comes in.
Yeah,
And
make a
then there's
little vestibule area.
best thing.
Yeah, we could do that.
That would make it a little safer for the people coming outside if they had to.
Right. Yeah, that would help also, yeah, so, the gas station owners don't dent anybody's car and be like,
Right, yeah.
you don't want
Okay, I think we have everything The rerouted electrical lines are on the new plan, that's correct? So they don't have to be added to recommendations.
And then a normal one that I tend to bring up is trash bins outside, just so we don't have your lot getting dirty and trash blowing into residents.
On the, by the islands, there's always going to be.
Okay. All right, I just didn't see it noted. If you had it on there then, I just missed it then.
Yeah, I usually don't label that, but they're gonna be trash.
Okay.
That's going to be, and then we put the last four as well.
Okay.
Are there any other comments or questions about the site plan?
Environment by Brandon,
Oh, that's good.
yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Anything else? Mike?
No, I'm all set.
Okay.
I think we turned every rock over
We
on
could-
this.
We could entertain a motion. Contingent on those recommendations.
Yeah, I move to approve with conditions. Might need a little help on listing all those conditions.
Yeah, we just need to make it contingent on recommendations 1 through 5.
Okay, I move to approve with conditions the recommendations 1 through 5.
Support.
Motion's made and supported. Any questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none, take the roll,
I'm
please.
sorry, the only one item that I was going to, I don't know if we would want to add it, but just the signage on the
Yes.
the
that's-
entrances and exits,
that's right.
if we want to amend the motion to include this. I know you're going to do it anyway, but just so for our records.
You want to add the item for signage on the egress,
Directional signage is.
directional signage?
Correct.
Say right turn only on the inside,
Yep.
and
I thought that was already on here.
It is, I would maybe phrase it as directional signage to comply with final approved configuration from MDOT and Wayne County.
What he said.
What do you say?
To add condition directional signage as approved by MDOT pending final traffic survey.
I support again.
Thank you.
motion's made and supported. Any comments or questions?
Sorry?
Take the roll.
Yes. Commissioner Daniels,
Aye.
Commissioner King,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams. Commissioner Steenberg,
Aye.
Chairperson May.
Aye.
Motion does carry 5-0.
Okay, your site plan is approved. Your
Special
special
use.
land use is recommendation. It has to go to the council for their approval. And then you can get together with Mr. Ortega to proceed.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Your drawings are well done. I review drawings for my normal 9 to 5. These are very nice.
noticed. Thought we were gonna do an extensive review here. No, that's fine. I'm glad you brought it up. Those are good things. Thank you so much. Nice
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Good night.
You too.
Hi.
Maybe I make it.
Okay, other business. We have a 2026 meeting schedule
Yes, sir.
for approval.
It's coming, whether we like it or not.
Always.
Right?
Yeah,
Seems like we're just doing this for 2025.
yeah.
Jeez.
So I did follow the kind of our general pattern for the most part. Actually, we're in good shape. The ZBA, we will have.
Good night.
We will have a few move dates because of the holiday, but for the Plan Commission, we will continue to hold that second Thursday of each month.
Okay.
Okay. we need a motion for approval.
I move to approve.
Support?
Any comments on the motion? Take the roll, please.
Yes, Commissioner Daniels.
Aye.
Commissioner King.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Steenberg.
Aye.
Commissioner May.
Aye.
Motion does pass 5-0.
Okay. Mr. Ortega, do you have anything else for us?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Mr. Daniels, anything you wanted to bring up?
No, I'm all set.
Mike?
The townhouses on Pardo, I think they'll look very nice when they're done, but I'm very disappointed looking back at the original conceptual drawings. They're not going to look absolutely nothing like the initial 3 iterations of drawings. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's kind of disappointing.
And that's disappointing to me because those initial drawings pointed out to a future look that's very popular now, not to the traditional look that it's going to end up being. I hope that we can do everything in our power to make sure that it doesn't end up happening again, because I'll do everything in my power to make sure that it doesn't.
I think all we gotta do is not pass anything through here that says proposed on it.
Right.
Right, yeah.
That's what
Correct.
got us, is when it said proposed.
And some of this will fall on you, Mario, when the baton gets passed for you to make the decisions after we vote on the minutia. You've always done excellent, but in this particular case, I was really looking forward to that look because it's a very updated, modern look. That building is going to blend in with every single other apartment building on that street from Henry Ruff to Merriman. There's nothing exceptional about it, nothing.
At least it won't stand
But
out.
that being said, do we have any new items on the horizon? I see families doing good and the previous bar is doing good. But also with the townhouses, it appears to be stalled right now. Do we have any information on that? There hasn't been anything done in 5 weeks.
Today, there was something done.
Yeah, I mean-
They were working on the connection to the water and sewer lines, and the permit was paid for today.
Okay, that's
So
good.
you'll see digging galore.
Is that right? Do they have the HVAC condenser lines going out the front by the front doors?
That's where the units will be.
That's gonna be attractive.
They're screening, landscape screening. There are heat pumps.
Right?
Just on the master plan, I know we talked about it earlier this year, and I know we were touching on like the Orin property and that. Where are we on the master plan?
We're getting very close to having a first draft for you, so that's going to be the next month or two.
Okay,
But definitely, it'll be coming for your consideration.
thank you, that's all.
Ellen?
Nothing tonight.
Okay. Matt, anything?
Don't have anything, no.
As usual, my only question is, how's the plan development moving along? And I understand they're still trying to arrange financing?
Yes, they're arranging financing, they're doing their due diligence with regards to Wayne County. That's involved with utilizing TIF funds and Brownfield Authority. And Director Miller is intimately aware of all the steps going on for that, so he might have a more detailed analysis.
Okay.
And in relationship to that, I talked to one of the principals in that recently. That's going to be about a $22 million development.
Sounds about right.
That's a very significant
That's
investment.
significant, and I think it's going to spur a lot of other development.
I really believe that.
Yeah.
because the areas to the east and the west on that, I think, are currently somewhat underdeveloped in
Yeah,
pockets.
right.
So I think that will,
Yeah, really
Help a
looking
lot.
forward to it.
yeah, $22 million. Wow.
Big time. Okay, other business, our 2026 meeting schedule we did. Our next meeting is Thursday, December 11th, 2025. And we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Or,
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
aye.
Motion's carried. Meeting's adjourned.
Matt, can you show me absent and excused for our